Mikey Ricks, welcome to In My
Thank
Shell.
you. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
having me.
hosting.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what this space is needed for.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm excited because I've seen your work on Instagram, but also you created Boring Run Club
Mhm.
in New Orleans, and I would say that's what a lot of people know you for. But for people who don't know you, how would you describe who you are and what you do?
I'm a 25-year-old guy who lives in New Orleans. I'm very adventurous and curious about stuff, and I think that's what kind of led me into the whole like cinematography editing world. And I just I'm always trying to get the most out of like the days that we have and the whole experience of being around people. I constantly tell people at the Run Club that you don't know when this thing may not be a thing, or you don't know when your next project's going to come in. And so for me, just who I am is label wise, filmmaker, director of photography, editor, photographer, run clubber, marathoner, those, I like, all those things. But at the end of the day, I think I'm just somebody who's very like curious about how much we can get out of life and how much you can kind of give out to other people without needing any of that. And I think that the boring thing really helped me because that was something that allowed me to be more of myself in like a crazy, energetic way versus having to be a professional 24/7, which playing those two roles, they intertwine some days and some days they're like complete opposites. So, adventurous young uh, guy who just is trying to make a good difference in a lot of people's lives.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think you are, because you're passionate about what you do, and that shows in everything that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. As I was like researching like your Instagram and like your style, your vision,
Hmm.
um, I was very like captivated by the clips that you post on Instagram.
Hmm.
Um, so what do we need to understand about your childhood that fueled your passion for cinematography and
For sure.
storytelling?
Growing up, my mom and my dad always had a VHS camera rolling. Our aunts did, our grandmothers did. I mean, I'm obsessed with it. I have a Super 8 over there. I have four VHS cameras at home. Like that style, which I'm sure you've seen, is my favorite. It's the grainy, the raw, captivating thing. My childhood was very like was developed around sports and just I don't know. It was a thing that if I found something I could latch onto and just go fully towards it, I was
Mhm.
down. It was football and baseball, and I was obsessed with motorcycles as a kid. I used to like fake fall off motorcycles to reenact, like the Harley Davidson guys. And there's just all types of things. I always saw my life as like a film. Like that was how I wanted it to be. I always wanted the storytell state championship stuff. I wanted like the craziest, in high school. I wanted to go to the craziest Project X things and all those things. I always was like, okay, how can you make the most amount of highlights in your life? But when I was a child, I mean, my brother and my sister are also creative. They don't have they're not in like a creative industry, but they're just as creative as me, just in their own respects. And I think my style came from watching my parents document everything and being able to look back on that. And in 2013, me, my brother, and my sister, we lost our mom. And so now the only remnants we have of that is film photos and VHS stuff and tapes. And so, like, to go back and listen to your mom's voice and be able to see you and her as a kid, and, just it's weird watching that. And so that hit me after that happened. I was like, man, I don't think I want to go through my life without documenting it. And to me, it was just record everything, have it. Then the style started to come along, and I was like, man, what's cooler than having all these memories is having them in like a cool, like cinematic way, or like being able to edit them together. Like I loved when people would get birthday videos or we would take trips, younger as a younger family and just recording stuff and taking pictures like all the time. But my genuine love for what I do now comes from the documentation of life. And I say that all the time. Like, I think documenting your life is the most important thing you can do, not only for yourself, but for the people who come after you. And for us, it's for me and my siblings and, everybody else in my mom's family, it was that. It was very important to have those things. So that's where the captivation, it's just real, it's raw. And I think in the world of short form and attention grabbing stuff, a lot of us are just like, we're missing things that make you feel something again. And so that's where my childhood now plays into this.
Yeah. I love what you said about how when you were younger, you would make everything a movie,
Yeah.
even though it may not have happened or maybe it
Hmm.
did in the future. I think that's really important. And as we get into adulthood, we kind of lose that,
Yep.
so it's important to keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. I mean, losing your inner kid and curiosity is like a painful, slow death
Yeah.
that I would never. And not everybody needs to be this shooting star and doing all of that, but it's like in the simple things, like if showing up to a run club on Saturday makes you happy, why not? That can be your Super Bowl. It's great. Some
Yeah.
people's Super Bowl is $200 million. Some people's Super Bowl is hanging out with their friends 5 days a week. But yeah, whatever makes your life feel a little bit more like a film. To me, that always made things better.
How long did it take for you to feel confident in your craft and what you do?
Hmm. What day is it? Um, there is waves in this like creative thing, and now with the way that socials go, there's so many talented editors and directors of photography and young editors and young camera guys, but it makes it fun. I mean, to watch my style and skills from where they were in 2017. I mean, you watch your footage like this. Um, I would say the beginning of 2025, last year, is really when I felt like I took a step into a larger scale of production and a larger piece of knowledge in this world. The first few years it was just this hustle and bustle. I mean, it's a very every single thing you can do, every person you can talk to, every job you can take, and you're learning the craft by doing it. But if you really want to get to another level at some point, you have to kind of slow down on the work and kind of go back into learning and testing. In 2025, that's what I did. I wanted my style to be something that I could sell or portray.
Mm-hmm.
And that year really was a leap mentally to be like, okay, I could do this. I could really edit something in the larger scale or edit something that like a documentary, um, anything of that nature. Up until then, it was really just trying to keep the wheels turning, keep trying techniques, and really just network as much as possible. But last year, I really fell in love with like my own style and
Mm-hmm.
craft.
Do you struggle with perfectionism
Oh
at
yeah,
all? Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
But I also try. I really work in my own head to not let perfectionism get in the way of done sometimes. But
Yeah.
I think it's just like in my nature with
Yeah.
with clients and just personal work. That's why I find it difficult sometimes to be the consistent poster on
Yeah.
socials. I want to make something that I'm proud of all the time, and maybe that's not the smartest way to go about it. I've made really shitty stuff. That's the only way to get good stuff. And but at that same time, if you're proud of everything that you're putting out, great, but you still have to make those 10 bad things to get to the good one. So maybe that's where my perfectionism kind of stems from.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. I feel like I use ChatGPT a
Hmm.
lot to help me with like scripting and like captions and like hashtags. But I feel like when I hand it over to ChatGPT, it's no longer mine.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that with
Hmm.
AI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think the AI stuff is like I love it for formatting. I mean, just being able to brain dump in there
Yeah.
and then just having it kind of bullet you out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I seeing an idea from start to finish that was genuinely, truly yours and watching it flow. I, I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine. When I put something out to the world, and by the world, it's socials for us. I mean, it's because I like it. Nobody can see it. It's fine. I like it and I enjoy it. Um, but yeah, in the regards of the AI sense, I do feel like that. I feel like writing your own ideas down, and then it spits you back an idea based off your ideas. Yes, technically you started the conversation, but at the same time, I think it has its perks for
Hmm.
sure. I'm not like a big hater of it,
Yeah.
but I do think that people overuse it and stop thinking a lot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So obviously, what you do is way different than like content creators
Mhm.
and short form content. But like, how would you describe your work being different?
A lot of the stuff that I like to make is to evoke some type of feeling, um, whether that's a brand campaign or a small personal edit or any type of even just filming session that we're doing. If I'm gonna put something out and truly go into it as a project, I want it to people, whoever the audience is that I'm trying to go for, I want them to see themselves in that. Especially as a brand campaign. Like that's your emotional attachment will get you further as a brand. Um, I think what makes my stuff unique is it is coming from a place of raw and authentic my thoughts. Like when I put something out, that's something that's never been made before. So technically it has to be unique, and I think about that a lot. You're doing a disservice by not putting stuff out, and your stuff could then inspire someone else down the line who could have been you 5 years ago. I constantly think about that part is the 5 years ago version, put the thing out, stop being a perfectionist. Um, but in the unique sense of work, I think evoking emotion through visuals and sound and music choices, and those three swirling together, I think it's a lot different than what a lot of content creators do.
Hmm.
Where maybe it's more entertainment. For me, it's more about evoking and pulling that emotion or making a memory come up when you're watching or hearing the sounds or of my video or edit or whatever it may be. Um, that's why I like to think that that's why it's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You posted, and I think this was a few years ago, but
Hmm.
like you posted a reel of this guy who was like in a boxing club.
Hmm.
And it was really cool because like at one point, I don't know if it was like he was against the wall or like he hit the bag, but the sound kind of like went distorted and it was
Hmm.
like he was in his own
Yeah.
world and then it like went back to
Yeah.
what everyone else could hear. That is really cool.
Hmm.
And I feel like in movies, people might not really notice it, but like in your work, you can really see it.
Hmm.
What exactly is sound design and how does that come into play in what
It's the
you
best thing in the
do?
world. It makes sound design is everything. It brings your footage and everything around it to life. In the film world, in this creative space, you can have okay footage with amazing sound,
Hmm.
and it can be a good video.
Okay.
If you have bad sound, whether you have amazing footage or not, it's a bad video. It really is.
Yeah.
And anybody who's ever worked in this space knows that basically sound design is like problem solving in your ears. And for anybody who's been around me and heard me editing, they probably want to throw my laptop against the wall because you will listen to the same sound or in 25 different tones of a whoosh or a wind or a riser or 22 different sets of birds. Like it's a lot. It's sound design to me is micro decisions that then add up and bring your entire timeline together. It evokes the entire feeling of the whole project from start to finish, whether it's a static hum, whether it's to build tension, whether it's a whoosh that makes you feel like you're out of a scene, whether it's the background noise that you're hearing while watching two people sit in a park. There's all these things. It essentially curates the environment for the viewer without having to just focus on the visuals.
Mm.
I would venture to say that if you watched one or two of the reels that I put out or small edits that I've put out, and you just watched with your eyes closed, you could most likely kind of tell what's going on by the sound. It is literally like a Rubik's Cube when you start to finish because everybody has their own unique style in
Hmm.
sound. And some people want big, crazy clash sound, and some people are really minimal. I like to combine the two, but sound design literally builds a world for your viewer that it's up to their imagination at that point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When you first started editing, were you big on sound design or it was first
Oh
figuring
no.
out your style?
Yeah, it was definitely honestly just learning like how to make things look okay at first, you know.
Yeah.
Every when I was younger, everything was blown out and honestly, like when you're young with a camera, ignorance is bliss. Like you're not thinking about ISO and white balance and all these things. You're just like, this looks okay, you know. I used to sneak my camera into festivals and I didn't think about any of that. I would just look at the screen and be like, all right, this looks great. And we would just go from there. But I think the first thing I focused on was actually trying to make my footage look like somewhat decent. But then you put this together and you're like, well, now it's this 3 minute thing of just music and clips, and that can just get redundant. It really can. If you listen to a car commercial, say like a Porsche commercial, something where it's got the gear shifts and the pedal smash and the drive and then the helicopter feeling zoom, all those things. If you just had a Porsche driving through a mountain with a song, it's really not that. It's not that invigorating. You don't feel much, but when it puts you in the mind frame of like being inside the car with the sound design, then yeah. But it's tough it really is tough because you have to develop your own sound style too. There's a whole like arsenal of sounds and things of that nature.
Yeah. Wow. I would have never thought of it like that. Like, it definitely makes sense, the example you gave about the Porsche.
Hmm.
I feel like if people can't envision themselves in it, then it's kind of like background noise.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
music, yeah, music is great, but music only can get you so far. If
Mm-hmm.
you heard if you watch a movie and it's just songs in the background the whole time versus,
Yeah.
everything else like birds and whatnot, or waves or whatever it may be. But that's something I really enjoy is making a timeline with no song. Start to finish, only sound design,
Okay.
only ambient sounds, crazy sounds. Um, there's just all those little aspects of it, but that's like a fun challenge that I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you like a type A? Like, are you organized where you have like a folder with all of your favorite sounds? Or are you always like looking for new ones to rotate?
definitely always looking for new
Okay.
ones. I have a basis of them
Okay.
in a creative assets folder just because you have to have like your go-tos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's been nights where I'm just on Artlist and all these different programs just listening to sounds. Because if you find one that really works, it can change your whole project in an instant. And any editor who watches this and knows what I'm talking about, when you find the right sound of something that you've just been stuck on, it gives you life. Like it's like a birthday celebration. It's just you and the computer. You like turn around, yeah, okay, there's nobody here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best part about being in here, or just when you find it and you get excited about it, it really is a good feeling.
Yeah.
Editing is a bunch of small wins to
Yeah.
yourself.
I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you know, especially cutting up for you. I would say cutting up people's pauses, sometimes filler words, all those little breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
I get it, dude.
Yeah.
Respect to you.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Gosh. So I do want to pivot to something that I saw. I saw that you posted you lost a lot of your footage. Was it
Mm,
5 years worth of
mm,
footage and your social media accounts got
mm.
disabled? Can I have the story? What happened?
Nightmare is what happened.
Oh,
Um, I think it was 2022, maybe. Yeah, it had to be 2022, I believe. I had this old Instagram account, and it was probably the same thing, probably Mikey Ricks or whatever it was. And it just had so many memories, travel videos. I got into filming because we can talk about the actual like origin story of it, but sneaking cameras into festivals. And so I had all this core footage and of me and my friends and family stuff. And I had just years and years of travel stuff, all the road trips we took. And at that time, I mean, I was just so ignorant to it, but I had it all backed up on a drive. And that drive was in a laptop bag. And that bag was in an apartment in Baton Rouge. We were up on the rooftop, I believe, on a Sunday, just out at the pool, having a great day. And my girlfriend's roommates called her and said, I think we got robbed. And my bag was there. So the one Sunday that the bag is there, laptop bag and everything. Well, so we run down there. I mean, talk about a buzzkill, you know? Like, we run down there, and for anybody who's gotten something stolen, there's that initial feeling of, like, there's absolutely no way that this actually got stolen. It's like a
Yeah.
point of realization where you're like, "There's no way," and for me, I had client work on there that wasn't done, or
Mm.
I was young. I was not smart yet, and, basically, this guy went in there and he grabbed my bag, stuffed a bunch of stuff. He ransacked these three girls' rooms. It was honestly a horrifying thing. And got him on camera. Nothing ever happened to it, but stole three laptops, cash, pills, all types of crazy stuff. Well, when he took that, at first my initial thought was, what is on there that I need to express to a client and tell them, like, hey, I don't have this anymore? Then I get home and I'm looking for the hard drive because I always keep it at home most 99% of the time, I guess. I always keep it at home and I go home to see if I can pull anything onto my stepbrother's laptop and the hard drive's not there. And I just silence for like an hour. I didn't call anybody. I didn't say anything. It was truly like it was just a devastating day. It really was. Not necessarily for me in the sense of material wise, it was the footage and just the memories I knew that I had on there. And it's like that's why you do it. You know, that's why you have the stuff that you shoot outside of professional work. You do it to have it. And like we said earlier, documenting everything was important to me. So it felt like someone had ripped that 5 years kind of like away in a sense of like memory terms. And following that, I think 3 or 4 months later, I opened up my phone one day. Facebook is blowing up my, in the meta thing, which I still don't understand to this day. I really don't get these cross account stuff. I open up my phone one day and it's like someone is trying to log in. We stopped them. Can you answer this email? Well, I go into Instagram. My Instagram pops up and then goes, "Shoo, you've been logged out." And I'm like,
What?
what is this? And this is the first time this happened. So I'm pretty confused. So I try logging in. Your password's been changed. And I'm like, what? So I go on my Facebook, try and log in. Your password's been changed. And so now I'm like seeing red. My phone is shaking in my hand. And because in my head, I'm like, dude, this is a portfolio of mine. All this old work. Granted, I know that there are worse things in the world. And, you know, com- just at that time, it felt like my portfolio of work was gone. I was like, damn, okay. So then I figured out I should probably build a better website instead of Instagram. But losing that social account and losing that footage was a very steep lesson of what to do with your footage and how to protect your socials, especially if you use your socials for clients. I don't think a lot of people think about that enough. Is like, what would happen to you or your brand if the Instagram went away?
Hmm.
And because we all use it for the same thing, my Instagram is not for my inner circle of friends. To
Hmm.
me, it's about showcasing what I can do, showcasing the memories that we're making, and how I can display them in a really good way. And hopefully that leads to like bigger and better jobs. So when that gets like ripped out from under your feet, it was a brutal day. It was a brutal few months for that. But we restarted and now we're here, you
Yeah.
know? It was like a tough restart, but in the same way, it was like a refreshing thing
Hmm.
in a way. If you can find it that way.
Yeah.
I was like, look, am I just gonna like, sulk over this for months at a time? I
Hmm.
surely could, but I really didn't want to. I just I couldn't get over the fact that the guy took the footage. So that happened, and that was a dark, brutal time
Yeah.
in those few months.
Yeah.
Gotta lock your stuff.
What advice would you give to someone who's maybe like in the same creative space as you? Like, should they, like, where do you have all your stuff backed up? Is it like on multiple
Multiple,
platforms?
multiple drives,
Yeah.
SSDs, hard drives. I would say backing it up twice at least, and then also having a cloud like Dropbox offers a cloud. There's a few other things where I think there's a ton of actually new programs that you can just upload your footage to and kind of organize them.
Mhm.
It being in a cloud makes it, yes, obviously it can be accessed through hacking and whatnot, but I feel like you're more likely to get physically robbed of something
Mhm.
than online hacked of a database of just like what is a client going to do, or what is somebody going to do with 4 terabytes of S-Log3 footage? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would do. But back
Yeah.
your stuff up, please. Please. Don't do what I did. That was a terrible lesson.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was me versus, someone else. But
Well, I
I
mean,
at least I know now and I can protrude that out to everybody and give some
yeah,
advice.
you have a good attitude about it. I mean, I feel like it's like that with everything. Like people have to learn really difficult lessons and then they're able to become better because of it,
It's the only way.
you know?
That is literally the only way. I've never
Yeah.
learned something, especially in this business. Like, I've never actually learned something from having everything go right.
Mhm.
There's no way. It just doesn't work to
Yeah.
me. If everything goes right for you, I mean, honestly, props to you if it does. But like,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't, well then yeah, you just pick yourself up and you learn from it. And that's where you go.
Yeah.
There's no time to be negative, man. We don't have time for that.
Yeah. So let's pivot to boring run club and like why you run. I want to know how you got into running.
7-ish years ago in 2019, I was pretty overweight. As a kid, I was very athletic and I loved what I did. I loved sports. But in 2019, I just found myself in this crazy predicament. I was probably about 265 pounds, and I'm not that tall, like 5'10". So it wasn't amazing. And there was a moment at an Academy store where I was just looking at myself. I was like, man, this is terrible. This is not how I want to live. I know myself. I knew I had the brain or the mind that I was growing into now, and the people. I knew it was there,
Mhm.
but it was going to take like a long, and you're going into college,
Mhm.
I went to UL, I went to Lafayette. I mean, straight from UL to LSU. There was this whole thing, and then you're battling your health and stuff in college. Well, when I started losing weight, I would just run on a treadmill like 2 or 3 miles a day, extremely way too fast and way too hard. Like it was a whole thing. So I hated it.
Mhm.
And then going throughout college, I realized the more I was outside, the happier I was. So lifting was always fun, but just being able to go for 20 minutes, 30 minutes and run. And it was never a training thing. It was never, I'm training to do this. It was just, hey, I know I should be moving and doing it in the sun sounds better than a treadmill. I am really a treadmill hater at this point. I really am. Especially after the run club
What
stuff.
if the treadmill's outside, like plugged into
Yeah,
a
okay.
tree
Yeah, for
situation?
sure.
Okay.
For sure. For sure. I say I'm a treadmill hater in the sense of I don't want to watch TV while I'm running.
Yeah.
Um, but running, I would say in a lot of ways, running did change and save my life in a few ways. It wasn't big to me until the beginning of 2024. I really enjoyed CrossFit style stuff. I loved the bodybuilding style stuff, and just I wanted to change my entire life, health first, and everything else will follow. And in 2024, the boring only came about because I had been running by myself for 3 years, and I was like, "This sucks. This is boring. It really is." And it was one of those ideas where if I felt like it came to me, and then you have your second thought, which is, "No, that's stupid," and then you have your third thought, it's like, "Is it though?" And then the fourth thought is, "Well, you might as well try it." I feel like most people get stuck on the second thought. They're like, "No, that's stupid," you know. So running has ultimately changed my life. I've now come in contact and met and have some of the best people I've ever had in my life. I have a community of people who are just amazing. I've gotten to meet and explore and go to Honolulu and run this race and run 30 miles to the city of New Orleans and just make all these friends in this thing that I never knew was real. And still, to me, it doesn't feel real all the time. Like yesterday, standing up on the city park, you see 200 something people out there. And you're like, you're telling me 200 people woke up, put shoes on, shorts, shirt, whatever, drove to City Park to come be a part of this thing? Yeah, it running has definitely like altered my brain chemistry in a very, very, very good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely attest to working out alone is not as enjoyable when you're
No.
working out with a group of people because I feel like for me, I mean, I work out at my cousin's gym, the
Hmm.
shop.
Oh wait, no way.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, mine is
Yes,
my
dude. I know
cousin.
all them, dude.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's motivating, it's inspiring rather than if I'm just like at home doing like yoga or Pilates. I'm like,
Hmm.
this is kind of boring.
Yes.
Um,
The word's almost like it's almost like a subject now.
yeah.
It's crazy to think of that.
Yeah. But I mean, I love that you created this like atmosphere. It's like, I mean, a community where people can come. I mean, it's because running is so much more than exercise. Like, it's
Yeah.
also like a mental health outlet and it's
Hmm.
also like where people network. I mean, is that how you came up with the name Boring Run Club? Because you just felt like it was.
So many people think it was such a deeper meaning.
Wait,
I swear.
oh my
People
gosh.
people have thought that it was this psychological thing, and there's two pieces of it. I love a good contrast in a brand name. I'm also very marketing and business brained, but I never thought about boring that way. I never thought boring would be what it is. It's absurd. When I thought about it, I was like, dude, how cool would it be to call it boring and just make it a house music party? And hopefully people it's like if someone had a podcast called Shitty Podcast.
Yeah.
You might watch it because they're confident enough to say, no, it's called Shitty Podcast. It's gonna draw you in versus like the very best podcast,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. We call it the best run club ever. It's like, oh well, but yeah, it's in the lightest of terms. Boring's name came from it being boring.
Okay.
There was no there was no psychological like marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Someone asked me about the logo. I said, "Dude, I went on Canva. I saw something that would match. Like I have a good internal creative clock from editing, and so I know what color feels right. I know what catches your eye. Maybe that's the psychological marketing side of it, but I mean that green, like you can't go many places without seeing the green now,
Yeah.
and I find that cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
like a star. I don't really know. I like it. I don't know what you see it as, but when I look at it, I see a star. So
See a star in yourself. How about that?
that's great. That's great. You also had, now, I don't know because I haven't been in a while. I'm
Mhm.
sorry to
It's
boring, but
okay.
I know I have seen a lot of groups and like partnerships. I guess that's the word that you would call it. How are you collabing with all of these people? Like, how is it working? Do you need like permits? What is the business side to it?
The actual partnership and business side of boring it can be tricky, but most of the time it's not. If someone says that they want to come out and do a pop-up at the
Hmm.
run, I'm all for it. I love it. I love when people bring their stuff out there, whether it's a brand or another race or I mean, we just the whole community side thing just show much support as possible. People always ask like if boring costs money because brands come out there. I'm like, dude, no. It's in a free park, it's in an open city park. But the business side of it, per se, with Asics and Propel, and we're gonna roll with Cadence this year as our like a electrolyte partner, and working with Nike and Never Second and like all these big brands. The business aspect of that is a lot of stuff that I handle kind of behind the scenes.
Hmm.
um, Not a lot of people do see the amount of time and volume that goes into it. Um, it's constant email chains and DMs and intros and Zoom calls, but it's all just leading towards making this thing as good of an experience and as good of a thing it can be.
Hmm.
But the partnership side is really people want their thing, their product, their experience in people's face. and we
Right.
have a chance to give that to them by having that many people. I mean, dude, if you owned a, an ice cream brand, and you could either pay an ad online
Mm-hmm.
and maybe get 1,000 people to see it, or you could have 60 people right in front of you who want to try it. It's like, which one are you going to pick? And I think that that's really what draws people into the whole thing. But I mean, being in talks with some of the heads of ASICs and some of the reps of ASICs, and then the next week talking to Lululemon about how we're going to do stuff. The it's almost trippy. Like when I leave the meetings, I can't believe that these are happening. But then I have to like snap back into it and say, okay, no, this is what's supposed to happen. Like this thing's supposed to keep going up. I don't know where it's gonna go, but it's going somewhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So was it more of them reaching out to you, or you? It's like shared situation.
Truthfully, Boring has been reached out to a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's just a testament to the marketing side of it and the social
Mm-hmm.
page. Like the social page makes it when you come from our type of background where you know how to play the rules and games of Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
what floats, how to make a vibe on a post, how to make a video. Like for me, especially with the video editing, I feel like it's such a game changer within showcasing
Yeah.
your thing. Um, but yeah, it's really surprising. And like I tell all my like core crew, I don't when we get reached out to from a large brand like that,
Mm-hmm.
but they have people in place who are looking for stuff like that. Like when we
Mm-hmm.
partnered with Propel came down and partnered with us and the 504th and NOLA Miles Club, and
Wow.
they Propel just came in full blown
Okay.
on like the whole US. But most of the brands, they'll see what's going on the page because I mean, if you look at the page, there's not many shout outs of brands and people. It's more just like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're having fun. Like this whole thing is we're just chilling. And then brands will see that and they'll say, hey, we like what you guys have going on. And I think that not being transactional in that phase is what brings you the most turnaround.
Yeah.
Like boring to me is not something to run a bunch of checks up on and take money out of people's pockets.
Yeah.
That's not what it is to me. I think to me, if a brand wants to come in and they want to have a table and do their thing, more the merrier for us.
Yeah.
But a free product is awesome from the brands. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I mean, dude, like someone comes in with 100 gel packets. It's like, dude, that shit's expensive. You need it. Yeah, those are great.
Do you think running influences the way you tell stories?
I think it definitely can. I think running has brought me. I've brought myself to some really crazy places mentally running, and me being a visual storyteller in a way, um, being a filmmaker and doing all of that, I do think that there's pieces of me. I'll give you a great example. There was a time we were editing the documentary we did, and I mean, editing a documentary is crazy. It's a lot of brain power, day in and day out. And there was a time where I was looking at the screen and I was just thinking to myself, if you can literally walk outside and run 20 miles, you're telling me you can't what is your worry?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to worry about any type of physical exertion. Like you've done this crazy hard physical stuff. This stuff should be a cakewalk for you. This is what you do. You don't run. I still don't I classify myself as a runner, but some of the people who I train and run with are incredibly amazing running athletes. And so when I come into this, I'm just like, dude, this is what you do. Like
Yeah.
the hard shit is Saturday mornings, trying to keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
This should be it definitely has calmed me down a lot. I used to get really like worked up when editing and trying to get myself back into the flow state, and running definitely will help me with that. If I'm really feeling like a mental block,
Mm-hmm.
dude, a nighttime run, no tunes, no music, or music, honestly, if you know the vibe that you're going for.
Yeah.
I got a wishy-washy thing with headphones. It's
Okay.
it's like 50-50. But yeah, to answer I think it was a great question.
Thank you.
I definitely think it does.
Yeah. I think pulling yourself out of a, I don't know, maybe like dark space. If you're editing for like, I don't know, like a full day, like 8 hours, and you're like, oh my god,
You're in a
I
dark
can't
space
look at this anymore.
for sure.
Knowing your balance, that's definitely helpful. I wanted to ask you this earlier, but as a filmmaker,
Hmm.
because I've seen you, at Hell's Gala, and
Hmm.
then I know you did some stuff for LSU Golden Girls, and I think Loft 18.
Yeah.
When you're filming, do you ever feel like it's invasive? Like even though like you're hired to do it, do you feel maybe like I need to give them some space? I don't know how to explain that question other
No,
than like,
I know exactly what you mean.
okay,
When you're filming people who are doing their thing
mhm,
versus like what we're about to film in Colorado, where it's set by set, scene by scene,
yeah,
actors know what they're doing, talented. That's a whole different story. When you're event capturing, I pride myself on kind of being a ghost, and being a ghost allows people to act naturally. It feels invasive when people start to notice that you are filming them.
right,
Yes, you're hired to do it, but you also are a moral person. You understand if someone sees you filming and immediately turns away, most of the time they probably don't want to be filmed. And so I think having an internal clock about that is extremely important. That
hmm,
also can make a client more comfortable. I just like to get all the hard shit out the way in the beginning.
hmm,
Like if it's a group, I'm like, does anybody in here not want to be filmed at 100%? Usually everybody says no. Um, but at the same time, if you're filming some type of, it can definitely get to that feeling.
hmm,
And at that point, you kind of have two options. You're like, okay, I'm never gonna point the camera at this person again, or you can go up to them and say, hey, look, I'm here filming this event. Are you okay with being on camera? That type of stuff. You just got
hmm,
to open that conversation to these people, because if not, they don't know you, and you're pointing a huge camera rig right at them like this, and you don't look too minimal behind this camera. You're like staring down the barrel of this thing.
yeah,
And so yeah, it can definitely feel that way, but all it takes is a quick conversation, maybe a handshake or whatever.
yeah,
People really break the walls down when you walk up to them.
yeah. Communication is key.
Yeah. Except
I
Hell's Gala
know.
is tough. I have
You have earplugs?
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
you
smart.
have to.
Wow.
You'll blow your eardrums out. Walking past those
Literally.
things. I got hit with a CO2 cannon at Hell's Gala 2 years ago.
Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
literally blew my hat off and everything. I couldn't hear for like probably about the
What?
next hour out of my right ear.
That
It
is
was nuts.
wild.
So I was like, I ain't never doing that again.
Yeah.
They don't care about you. They got CO2 to send off for the crowd.
What?
It's your job to get out of the way.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
I didn't stay for that.
it was crazy.
Um, what's harder, finishing a marathon or finishing a film?
Oh my God. Finishing a film. Finishing a film.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. I truly, genuinely believe that most people in the world could run/walk a marathon. I do. I really do. I think it's just a pure mind versus body thing.
Hmm.
Finishing a film, you have so many moving parts that you are trying to hold on to and move them in the right places. It's this constant chess match, but the board keeps flipping over and you have to keep restarting. And because this day may have rain, and then this day this person's not available, and this day this camera broke, or maybe this guy's not available. It's a constant chess match. And that's just the filming,
Hmm.
especially when you're working with a crew of 15 or 20 people. Even if it's a short thing, if it's 3 days, that's still 20 people who all have 20 different things going on in their life, and everybody's here to do the same job. But it's working with 20 people. It can get hazy sometimes, and
Yeah.
that doesn't even bring you into the post-production side, where
Yeah.
all of your choices will reflect this thing on the screen.
Right.
um, Finishing a film is tough. I mean, we did the doc last year with us and a handful of help from a couple of the really great people around us who lended a hand whenever they could. But that was genuinely one of the most like mentally challenging things we've ever done, that I've
Yeah.
ever done for sure. But a marathon is badass. I love it. It was fun.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add before we close?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you a docu-series thing that I wanted to post, but I don't know. I think it's buried somewhere in my footage. Um, if there is one thing that I've noticed about this whole like season of kind of my life and being a filmmaker, being a part of this community thing, um, I said this in a video, but I do think it's important for people to hear it again, especially someone like yourself, where you're building something like this and this podcast. And like I said, you're really great at asking questions and keeping it flowing. Um,
Thank you.
Waiting for someone to tell you that your shit is good, you will never ever get to like the point that you want to. Because here's a small story. When I was 16, me and a buddy of mine, his name is Christian, and we talk about this story all the time. Sitting in my friend's dad's bedroom, watching YouTube of these guys who used to sneak into music festivals, film it, and they made it this like truly emotional thing. It was like this free spirit thing, and that was where like I got attached to it. I was like the free spirit of life. Like you could just do whatever you want. You literally can. And I remember I told him, I said, dude, I think I can do that. Like film. I was like, I think I can film stuff and make stuff like that. And we joke about that conversation all the time now because it literally happened and it's happening,
That's
and
crazy.
it's just absurd to think about it. So it's not something where you go ask people like, do you think this is a good idea? I think you just go do it. You try it, and the worst that will happen is that you go back to where you were. I don't think unless you're throwing your whole life away for it. But most of the time, that's never the case. I think the problems that we make up in our head about running a business or chasing a dream are 95% in your head. And I am living, walking proof that if you do have a small idea that you think you could do something, that it's at least worth a shot, I think.
I agree. Well, Mikey Ricks, thank you for being on today.
Thank you.